Add Oga Sawara's friends to the mix and we'll be so many strong that nothing can stop us. Right? Right. Let's not get too careless, though. None of this is going to be easy. There's only so much we can do in here. That's not likely to change. For now, I'd suggest we investigate our surroundings as thoroughly as possible. Leave no stone unturned. And don't give up or give in, no matter what. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm scared to death right now, but I'm not going to let that stop me. No worry. We'll be behind you all the way. We could get through this together. At this, Kishinuma stood up and began scanning his eyes over the nearby shelves. Since we're here anyway, how about we start by checking for clues in this room? It is a reference room after all. There's bound to be something worthwhile. Nothing on the shelf seems particularly relevant. Oh, there's a body. It's a girl's body, seemingly junior or senior high. It's mostly decomposed down to the skeleton at this point. There's a duffel bag on its side next to her with a tracksuit, partially hanging out of it. And her student ID name tag is still clearly visible on her uniform. Ao Amano. Ah, there's another one. There are numerous scrapbooks on the shelf, each containing various newspaper and letter clippings. One in particular stands out. It's an old-school 3-ringed binder filled with articles that are all over 30 years old. 1973, serial kidnapping, and murder at Heavenly Host Elementary. That's here, right? There was an article about that in one of the classrooms too, I think. Dashing the hopes and prayers of their concerned parents, 3 of the kidnapped children returned home tonight in body bags. Local police gave an official statement at around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Yuki Kano, Ryo Yoshizawa, and Tokiko Tsuji, previously reported missing, were found dead in a basement room beneath the school. The circumstances behind their murders are still under investigation, and a suspect with ties to the school's teaching staff is in questioning. First responders report a shocking, grisly murder scene and have expressed concerns at even allowing the families of the deceased to see their children. Significant mutilation is said to have occurred, and officials believe the sight of this may exacerbate the already delicate mental states of the bereaved. The sole survivor of this unspeakable crime is 7-year-old Sachiko Shinozaki, who remains in shock from the experience. Her testimony may prove invaluable towards closing the case and putting this horror behind us. However, so police are anxious to question her. Meanwhile, other parents have already begun calling Heavenly Host safety procedures into question. In the wake of this tragedy, members of the PTA have... There's a snippet from another page as well, which includes photographs of the 3 victims as well as the lone survivor. Oh, these are the children I saw. I've seen them too. I guess they were killed here. So now they've cursed the place or something. It's so horrible to hear what happened to them. I've been looking at them as scary, evil spirits all this time. But really, they're just victims themselves. Be careful, Suzumoto. Compassion can be dangerous in a place like this. It's not unheard of for a spirit to lose its sense of humanity after dying. In other words, these kids aren't necessarily going to a place to play nice with living beings anymore. What do you think happened to the murderer? Here we go. They talk about him in this one. Accused child murderer commits suicide. The 32-year-old former teacher believed to have committed the now infamous adolescent kidnappings and murderers was found dead earlier yesterday morning. After being deemed mentally unfit to take responsibility for his actions, he was placed in intensive psychiatric care, but escaped 2 nights ago. the psychiatric ward commissioned a manhunt which culminated in the discovery of his hanged body in a room beneath Heavenly Host Elementary School. Near the site of his shocking triple homicide, the cause of death was ruled as strangulation and is strongly believed to be self-inflicted. As this appears to be a show of remorse, previously thought beyond his mental capacity, his psychiatric ward has come under heavy fire since the discovery. Even the murderer killed himself, huh? Guess there's no happy end for anybody. Though the families of the victims were probably glad to see him go. Well, and there's that one girl who was spared too. Isn't it kind of strange, though, that there's not one single comment from the survivor's family? Every article is full of commentary from friends and family of the deceased, but there's not a word to be found anywhere about the girl who was spared. I'd assume that was by request, to protect their privacy or something. Do newspapers really care about that, though? The mass media is always chasing scoops, no matter what it takes to get them, or who they have to bother. Dr. Tomokichi Fukurai's research records. Mesmer's magnetism. Correspondence with Anna Sprengel. Sprengel? Probably. Seraphita. Records of psychic phenomena. Letters to and from magic societies. Classic mystery novels. Not your typical elementary school reading material. There are no serial numbers or library cards or anything on them, though, so they're probably not the school's. That's true. Maybe these were brought in by other victims who got trapped here. Actually, it looks like there's a name stamp on most of these. Kibiki? Is that how you read those kanji? What? Kibiki? Wow, you're right. I recognize that name. You know the paranormalist Nahosa Inoki? Ko Kibiki is her mentor. He's a journalist. So that means Mr. Kibiki is in here too, I guess. But why? I guess I'm out of here. I wonder how much time has passed since we got here. I don't know if I can trust my cell phone clock in a place like this. That's a good point. If space is being changed around randomly, there's no reason to believe the same thing isn't happening to time. I trust my stomach, though, and it's telling me that dinner time has already come and gone. And now is about when good boys and girls would go to bed. I have to admit, I am hungry. Maybe we should add finding food to your list, Shinozaki. But for now, I think it's about time we found a nice cozy spot to sit and rest for a while. I think I'd like that, as I'm really, really tired. Not so tired that I'm worried about getting possessed or anything, but tired enough. And so, the four of us headed to the safest spot we could think of, setting in for a bit to help calm our spirits and refresh our bodies. Almost immediately, both Kishinuma and Shinozaki sat down, closed their eyes and fell fast asleep. Understandable considering what they'd just experienced. Out like a light, both of them. They must be exhausted. Kishinuma went through a great deal of turmoil to save Ayumi after all. Aren't you tired too? I am, but I just can't bring myself to sleep. My mind keeps racing, wondering what Nari and the others are doing right now. I feel like I need to be ready to run out after them at a moment's notice. I know just where you're coming from. I get the same way when I think of Shige. I wish I could see his face right now, you know? Huh? Nana? What happened to your legs? I felt a chill in my stomach as soon as I saw them. They were the same bruise-like markings around Nana's slender thighs that I'd seen before, but they'd become much darker in color. They looked pink originally, as if she'd just rubbed her skin against something, but now they were deep, dark purple, the color of grapes. Are you alright? Does it hurt? Huh? You mean the bruises? They've been there since before. Yeah, but they're darker now. Oh, you're right. What a weird color. What's happening? It's probably just changing color over time from the blood rushing to the surface. I doubt it's anything to worry about. Sorry. I just hope it doesn't leave a scar. True, you do have beautiful legs after all. Please? No, I don't. Jealous, you're so thin and gorgeous. If I were as tall as you, Shige and I would sure look a lot more natural together. Is he your boyfriend? Nothing quite like that. I guess you could say he's just a really important person to me. He always stands by me, accepts me for who I am, despite all my flaws, and always supports me in whatever I choose to do. He sounds wonderful. Yeah, I'm not just saying this because we're in the same drama club, but he's like some kind of prince. Though if you ask Kishinuma, he's an evil wizard. Kishinuma has a thing for Ayumi, doesn't he? Oh? Does that bother you? Are you taking an interest, perhaps? No, nothing like that. Sorry, I had to ask. Actually, Kishinuma's got it pretty rough. He's got a rival for Shinozaki's affections. But they look so cute together. They are a lot alike in many ways, particularly in their complete inability to be honest about how they feel. But it's a lot like you when you're with Morishige, isn't it? Come on, I already told you. It's not like that with us. Though, I guess I really don't know how to classify the way I feel. I mean, when I do finally see Shige, how should I react? What do I want him to do? Do I want him to pull me into his arms like Kishinuma did with Shinozaki? Or do I just want him to pat me on the head and tell me I did good? I guess I won't really know until the time comes. If it comes. It'll come, just like it did for Kishinuma and Ayumi. Thanks! I hope Mochida is able to reunite with Yuka and Nakashima too. Miss Yui, Shinohara. We'll all meet up and go back home, and properly exchange that photo we took after the culture festival. I really want to see my friends too. I'm so sorry. I've just been talking about myself all this time. I think I want to go scout around for them real quick. I have to go to the bathroom anyway. By yourself? Isn't that dangerous? I'll only be gone for a moment. I guess thinking about her friends got her all worked up. She probably just couldn't sit still any longer. Kishinuma, you're awake? Shouldn't you go with her, just to be safe? I probably should. You stay here and keep an eye on Shinozaki. Thanks, I will. If anything happens, just yell real loud, okay? I'll smack Shinozaki till she's awake, and the two of us will come running. Okay. The hallways are pretty dark, so I think I'm going to borrow one of her candles. Just be careful. Once you find Ogasawara, you two come right back here. You got it? The bathroom felt empty. There was no indication of Nana's presence whatsoever. Maybe we passed one another without realizing it. The sound that echoed through the hall was like that of a butcher slicing up a large chunk of meat, bone and all. And this sound was accompanied by the dimly lit figure of Nana sprawled out on the ground in front of me. Or rather, part of Nana. It was really just the top half of her body, severed cleanly at the thigh. Her legs were completely gone. And the worst part is, she was still fully alert and aware. This grisly sight was too much for me to handle. I became weak in the knees and fell backwards, landing on my butt. I couldn't move. It hurts! It hurts! My legs! My legs! Nana was bending and contorting her back and writhing on the ground as if struggling to escape the pain and the fear. I wanted to help her, but I had no idea what I could do. Nothing had ever prepared me for a situation like this. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't even think. The sight of Nana's squirming body, gushing blood every which way, was burning itself into my mind. It was the most frightening thing I'd ever seen. I could sense the presence of another person in the shadows just behind Nana's torso. Who was it? The darkness was all-encompassing past a certain point, giving only the vaguest notion of a human silhouette within an inky black void. Who's there? The locker room. No. Wait, it's not. Where is this? What's back there? That door should have led to the pool locker room, but the lighting, or lack of it, was completely wrong. There was also an indescribably foul odor wafting from within, so powerful and revolting that I felt I could never leave my senses again. And whatever being was lurking in the shadows of that horrible room was getting closer to me, step by step. I still couldn't make out a single feature, but frankly, I didn't want to. His existence alone was threatening enough. Whoever this was, I could sense his shadow posturing itself over Nana's head, as if preparing to swallow it whole. Like a crocodile. In fact, the shadow was beginning to resemble a crocodile more and more. Was this even a person? The figure was now fully visible, and was indeed a person, I think. He grabbed Nana by the head, then turned and began dragging her into that horrid room. She was clearly nearing death, as it took everything she had to scream in protest. Her voice was getting weaker, and her writhing less pronounced. I couldn't even imagine how painful it must be to have one's severed body slowly dragged across the floor, exposed side down. It would be bad enough just having my head held in that massive, filthy grip. No, grip isn't the right word. It really was more like a bite.